Okay, we're back, folks.
Welcome back to the 2025 James P. Mac McCarthy Southeast Regional Lifeguard Championship. We're now midway in our age group men surf ski event. This is an 800-meter advanced level kayak event. Our competitors have just rounded the first apex buoy, headed out to the midway point, our second apex buoy. This is our age group event, so these are paddlers from 30 years and older, many of which competed in the open, and this is now their second leg, many of which have waited and basically came all the way to Daytona Beach just to do this one event.
So they probably, some of them have already, and we know some of them have already been in the open, and now they're in the...
Right, so this will be heat 2 for some of these people. I know Fort Lauderdale lifeguard and former Hollywood Ocean Rescue Chief Bruce Wilkie will be in this event. He's won this age group event many times. He's one of the seasoned veterans in the surf ski event. I can't tell who's out in front from this vantage point, but I guarantee you that Bruce is in the top 5.
Now coming up next, folks, you won't want to miss this, the 90-meter sprint. We teased you on that a little bit earlier, and that's going to be coming out. There's going to be plenty of heats involved there, but we're going to cover this age group event in surf ski, and then the international surf ski age group in women's will quickly follow, and then we'll move over to the 90-meter land sprint.
So now we are headed in about 100 yards out. There looks to be a little current. Today it looks like it's running south to north, so there's some adjustments being made to the finish line. That may be Chase Robertson out in front from Palm Beach County. I believe he placed in the open as well. I see Bruce Wilkie there in third place on the green ski. No doubt winning his age group. He's my age, so he's up there in his late 50s. And as they're headed in, even if you have ties in this race, we're talking about people from different age groups. So even if you tie somebody, they may not be from your age group. You may still be a regional champion in this event, even if you come in last. Like I said, these are age group competitors, 30 years and older, all the way up to 75 plus. So sometimes you're racing the guy right next to you. Sometimes you're not racing anybody. Sometimes you're the sole competitor in your age group.
Tight finish for 4th, 5th, and 6th. The judges are going to have to make a call on that. A little bit of a traffic jam as those handlers are moving the crafts out of the way. But yeah, these age groupers are impressive. They've got the skill down, and once they've practiced it for years, they never really lose it. So I mean, as long as they're still practicing. So yeah, they take their skills a little later than, say for instance, if they're going to be in that 90-meter sprint.
Yeah, that's a great thing about the surf ski is the longevity that you have on this craft event. If you can master the balance and the dexterity, if you have the dexterity needed to do this event, you can do this event for 20, 30, 40 years actually. I have friends that competed in this event in their late 60s, early 70s. So this is kind of like a like a lifetime event that you can do throughout the course of your whole life. In fact, our head official, Don May, recent retiree, 50-year lifeguard from Palm Beach County, recently purchased a surf ski, and now he surf ski paddles 3 to 4 days a week in his retirement as a 74-year-old.
Awesome. And it's good for you. It's as far as aerobic exercise and strengthening your core muscles, and your balance, everything that you mentioned, it's really good for you. Now, how is it recovering from a shoulder surgery, getting back into the saddle?
Well, the surf ski event isn't quite as tough on your shoulders as board paddling and swimming.
Okay.
So you'll see a lot of retired swimmers, retired paddlers picking up the surf ski because it's a little bit easier on your body. It does kind of wear on the lower back,
right?
But it also strengthens the lower back, so it's a good core exercise, works on your abdominal muscles, works on your lower back muscles. And of course, like I talked about before, you have that leg drive off of your heel. So it's as much as you wouldn't think so, surf ski paddling is also kind of a full body, full muscle activity.
Right. Balance, coordination, core strength. There's a lot of benefits to it. And like you said, taking away from the shoulder motion of a paddleboard or a swimmer, and then the impact of being a long-time runner. It's probably a good go-to alternative for fitness.
And it's a lot of fun. You might have been a recreational runner most of your early life, and then you start getting those ankle injuries, those knee injuries, those lower back injuries. You pick up the surf ski, you can still cover the same distance as you would doing, a 30-minute jog, but now you're in the water, you're looking at the world from a different perspective. It's just a fun thing to do with your fitness time.
And the camaraderie.
You can pick up a pack of paddlers. You guys can meet a couple days a week, cover some ground in the intercoastal, maybe take it out to the ocean, ride some waves with it. Just a fun piece of equipment.
And being 39 pounds, you can do it yourself, right? You can lift it up off of the racks of a vehicle.
If you're a younger person, 39 pounds isn't a lot of weight, but as you get older, they sell a variety of two-wheeled push trailers that you can hook onto the front of your ski to get it from your vehicle down to the water's edge. Or maybe a lot of times you'll get two paddlers together carrying two skis at the same time. One person will grab the nose, the other person will grab the two tails, and that makes it a lot easier to carry a couple skis back and forth from the vehicle as well.
What's always impressed me is how the Aussies do it. It's such a family affair, going from the nippers on up to the retirees, veterans, or what have you. But they have these beach clubs that their association have housed all their equipment right on the sand or very close to it. It seems like a very convenient way to continue and have your crafts nearby.
So in Australia, the majority of the lifeguards or lifesavers, as they're called over there, are volunteers. So, a smaller percentage of the lifeguards are paid lifeguards, but you have a lot of volunteers that come out and work weekends when they're not working in their other jobs, and they join these beach clubs, and all the equipment is kept at the beach club. And some of the nippers or the junior lifeguards over in Australia will start paddling these surf skis as young as 5-6 years old, and they actually have these little mini surf skis, these nipper skis that they learn on. And so by the time they're a full-fledged paid or full-fledged volunteer lifeguard, they're very adept on this craft. They've been doing it their whole life, and that gives them that huge advantage when we're talking about international competition.
That's impressive. So it's a rite of passage, I guess, sort to say, in Australia and probably in New Zealand as well, that they give that volunteerism to the community as they're expected to, handed down in tradition to their families, to volunteer as a lifesaver there.
And even in Florida, we have one agency specifically up in Jacksonville Beach that still employs volunteer lifesavers. The oldest beach patrol in Florida, Jacksonville, started in 1912 through the American Red Cross as a volunteer life-saving agency. They run now as two separate groups working together to keep the beaches safe up there. You have your paid lifeguards that work Monday through Friday, then you have your volunteers that come in on weekends and holidays. They have a really unique situation up there and a lot of tradition, and they kind of use that Australian beach club model where they have their life-saving headquarters right on the beach, their life-saving station right on the sand, and they keep all their equipment in their equipment bays there, and you can come in on your days off, grab a piece of equipment, train, or maybe sit a lifeguard tower if you can still swim that 500 meters in 10 minutes or less.
I know they get into the minutia of legalities, workers' compensation, employee screening. There was a whole lot of controversy up there, and I haven't really kept up with it. But it's just a shame that Australia can circumnavigate those kind of issues and have full-fledged volunteers out there with a bolstered lifesaver group of people, beach after beach after beach. It's just truly impressive. And then their athletic ability is far and above, most other athletes from around the world.
Yeah, in Australia, it's all about the culture, being an ocean culture over there. Most other countries in the world, you can look at professional football, baseball, soccer, what have you, as their, popular spectator sports. In Australia, believe it or not, life-saving sport is their number one spectator sport. Yeah. And you can be a competitive athlete in Australia as as a life-saving sport competitor and make over $1 million a year competing in these events through sponsorships and training in your craft and making a life for yourself as a competitive athlete, as a life-saving sport competitor.
It's really impressive. I've noticed in watching some of their championships that are televised, the supporters and sponsorships that they have are top tier. I mean, they're top corporations in Australia that really get involved and back these surf life-saving groups.
Kellogg's, Uncle Toby's, a couple sponsors jump to mind when we're talking about these Australian competitors over there. And I really can't understand how that hasn't caught on in the U.S. like that. You're talking about a demographic of people, they're in the best shape of their life, wearing very little clothing, out here on the beach, running, swimming.
Healthy sport.
How have we not been able to secure some of these multi-million-dollar sponsors to make this a true spectator sport on national television like it should be?
It baffles me as well. I do notice that LA County does have corporate sponsorship for vehicles and has for a long, long time. But other than that, I think it's a decision way above our pay grade. That's for sure. But I sure would like to see
this is a shout out to production companies all around the country and sponsorship people that want to maybe take the lead on this. We want to see life-saving sport as a national level competition on national TV. Come on, ABC Wild World of Sports. Pick this up and run with it. ESPN, ESPN2. There's got to be a channel out there that wants to grab this very exciting athletic event. And like I said, who doesn't want to watch a bunch of healthy people in the best shape of their lives in bathing suits running up and down the beach, Jack?
Well, exposure is what it's all about. And of course, back in the mid-'70s, the same year Jaws came out, the movie Lifeguard came out, and it turned a lot of heads. The Jaws movie and then the Lifeguard movie with Sam Elliott came out, and of course several years later.
Great movie.
Yeah, several years later, then the Hasselhoff and the Baywatch, really got things rolling. Okay, looks like we're staging for the 90-meter sprint. And we're going to be setting up lanes, and of course that'll be marked with some neoprene lines so the runners do stay in their lanes. Should be a fast event. However, I would say, Jim, probably pretty much every competitor that was in beach flags wants a piece of this.
At least initially, if they've never done this race before and they're good beach flaggers, they may want to give it a try. But like I said earlier, sometimes if you're good at beach flags, you may only have 20, 30, 40 yards of speed in you. Once you hit that 50, 60, 70 yards, you get passed by the other people. So sometimes this is a race for people that are better at the 100-meter sprint.
And if you're scheduled for finals, one of the top 16 tonight in the open division alone, a pulled hammy in this might ruin it all.
Yeah, so you really have to pick which event's more important. We do see a lot of groin muscle pulls, a lot of hamstring muscle pulls in these beach sprint events. If you look down at the beach, you can see all the competitors doing their stretching routines, doing their jogs back and forth, keeping those muscles limber and warm. But yeah, you do see a lot of injuries in these beach sprint events.
And their surface that they're going to be running on, a little different from where they came from.
A lot of the South Florida guards are used to running in very deep, soft sand. And if you train in that kind of sand and then you come up here to this hard, flat sand, I think it's a little bit of an advantage, actually.
Yeah, they're going to be speeding. We got time to thank some of our supporters. Of course, we have a whole staff out here with Volusia County Public Information that has given us the wherewithal to do all this. And I want to shout out to those. Beaches Entertainment Complex, Jolyn
Swimwear, big supporter of USLA events.
Lawyer dude, Josh Wagner. Shout out to Josh as he recovers.
And of course, if you need some screen printing, t-shirts, rash guards, go to Cubco.
The Fish Tank, located in the Home Depot Plaza out by the International Speedway.
And Waterman lifeguard gear to get your lifeguard shorts, shirts, bathing suit, everything you wear as a lifeguard.
Cito, for your Cito service. Go ahead and get that contract, folks.
And for your skincare needs, especially protect against the sun, tropical seas, land shark, sun and skincare.
And go say hello to Ken Botts and the crew at the Ocean Deck. We're going to be there tonight for the finals.
For your health needs, please visit Advent Health.
And of course, the lovely Hard Rock Hotel, Michelle and the crew, and Linda at the front desk.
And for your lifeguard statistical needs, every year the USLA requires that you turn in your stats at the end of the year. Watchtower will help you navigate through that. Excellent organization. We're keeping track of your rescues, your major first aids, your minor first aids, all the statistics that you keep with that throughout the year. You can pinpoint them on a map. It's a really neat tool to have.
And, you know, justify our existence and payroll and what have you. You know, we sort of get caught up in the everyday affairs, you know, talking about that real quick. Is, you know, do you count your lost kids at the end of the day on your fingers, your warnings, your interventions, your first aids, you remember the big calls. Yeah, we had 4 drownings this year. I mean, you remember those things.
And the good thing about the Watchtower program is you can throw that on a tablet and put that right out on the beach environment, and then you can log your statistics in real time. So your administrators, your fire chief, even your mayor can know how many rescues, how many preventions, how many jellyfish stings you've had that day in real time, which can help out when you're talking to the media or you know, you're talking about the beach conditions that day for tourism reasons.
Or a budget meeting.
Budget meetings, of course. We always get back to the bean counters.
So, and it's important, you know, you don't want to talk about it that much, but it is important. You know, everybody wants to put their bid in when it comes to a county or a city budget. So, you know, you gotta, you know, protect your territory. Okay, so we lining up lanes. How many lanes do you think we're going to have room for here as far as this 90-meter sprint?
I believe they run this event with 10 lanes, and judging from the numbers of runners here, we're probably going to have multiple heats. Hopefully this event doesn't take all morning.
We're about, the mercy of the tide as well. You know, how much room we're going to have. It's got to be even surfaces for each guy. You don't want to put one lane in salt sand and one guy.
So, Jack, we've been talking a lot about lifeguard athletes, but let's talk about lifeguards as a career. Lifeguarding as a career. A lot of the people competing in this event, we have a lot of younger people that are seasonal summer lifeguards, but we also have people that are career ocean lifesavers.
Yeah, and of course it all starts with the young ones, and as they go through their education, their high school and collegiate years, a lot of them just choose this path. Now there's pensions involved, retirement, insurance, and camaraderie, the family culture that we've had is what really hooked me. Of course, it wasn't that in my plans or my parents' plans, so to speak, to continue in the lifesaving. But after a while, they saw I was content, I was happy, and again, you go back to it's not about all the money. Nobody's going to get rich.
And you know, we've seen something new, whereas we have older individuals that have maybe completed a career in the military. Maybe they were a school teacher for 25, 30 years. They were lifeguards in high school, or they were age group swimmers, and they're deciding to start a life-saving career later in life. In fact, in Fort Lauderdale, we hired a couple of Coast Guard rescue swimmers that had never been lifeguards before, that came out of retirement after their service to this country and became full-fledged lifeguards and are still working on Fort Lauderdale Beach today.
Yeah, because a lot of them get in and out of the military in 10 or 20 years. They got to do something.
Going out for my favorite part of the job, my paid training hour every day. So yeah, if you like to train and you love the water, come be a Volusia County lifeguard.
I value people's lives. I want to be someone on that red chair saving people.
I know that they always save people's lives, and they're really disciplined, and they're a good lifeguarding organization, and I just wanted to do something meaningful, like help people.
like to train and you love the water, come be a Volusia County lifeguard.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Irina Marks.
And what are you out here doing today?
I'm training to be lifeguard. It's my second job.
All right. And what's your day job?
I work for Advent Health, medical assistant in neurosurgery.
Awesome. And what made you want to become a lifeguard in your spare time?
I like to help people and be outside a little.
What's been the hardest part about lifeguard training?
Definitely, I'm not a swimmer, doing the 500-meter swim, but once you get past that hurdle, it's pretty easy from there.
What's been your favorite part about training?
Going out on mock rescues, definitely the best part.
How'd you hear about the lifeguard recruit class?
My friends, but also just seeing them. I looked it up and I filled out that application.
How long have you wanted to be a lifeguard for?
Ever since I moved here, so about 8 months ago. Yeah.
What's your favorite part so far?
Just thought of saving people.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Thinking that same thing, Dave. You're crushing it. Good job,
Thank
man.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you're not relaxing with your toes in the sand and a drink in your hand, then all we can say is we wish you were here at the Ocean Deck. Whether you're dining with the family upstairs or partying in the sand downstairs, at Ocean Deck we serve up a delicious menu, unbeatable drink specials, and the best live entertainment on the beach. Visit oceandeck.com to see the menu and events. So come on, let's get happy at the Ocean Deck.
Ocean Deck, voted the #1 beach bar in USA Today's 2025 Reader's Choice Awards. Whatever you're into, Central Florida's only national leader in orthopedics is here to help you get back to it. Advent Health. Feel whole.
Wagner the Lawyer Dude here, serving Daytona Beach for about 20 years. When you or someone you care about gets into a car accident or a slip and fall, and it turns out to be a real beach, hit up the Lawyer Dude. Why use Wagner the Lawyer Dude? It's simple. I use my surfer-style attitude to get you the most money in your pocket, not the lawyer's pockets. Let's get you lawyered up by surfing over to lawyerdude.com or call me at 833-333-3333 because Wagner the Lawyer Dude makes it easy. Vasileiros Wagner, offices Volusia, Flagler.
And we're back, folks, to the 2025 James Mac McCarthy Southeast Regional United States Lifesaving Association Championships here in Daytona Beach. Day 2 morning session. We're getting into, Jim, the 90-meter sprint race. It looks like they've marshaled all the competitors for now.
Right, this is our 90-meter beach sprint, as it's called internationally. Looks like we have about 100 competitors lined up. We have Heat 1 lined up, it looks like. I'm imagining we're going to have 3 or 4 heats in this event. We're going to try to rely on stopwatches and popsicle sticks, but of course, if that doesn't work, we're going to try to use our drone footage.
One way south to north, it looks like we're going to be sort of out of range for the exact finish line.
We'll be able to look at the monitor here.
Yeah, we'll be watching the monitor. The drone's going to be sitting right on top of them. I don't feel good for the judges, the lane judges, because some of these races undoubtedly are going to be tight. Of course, the lanes aren't exactly the same in contour and surface. There's a blind draw each heat.
There is a lane draw for this. As you can see, some of those lanes actually have water on them.
Yes.
Which can sometimes be an advantage. It'll keep that sand nice and hard packed, whereas the lanes up more west on the beach might be a little fluffier, maybe an inch or two deep. And that's all, that's all part of the luck of the draw when it comes to pulling up those popsicle sticks out of the sand.
So just like in a swimming pool, maybe lanes 4 and 5 and 6 are the sweet spots.
That's what it looks like today. Those center lanes look to be the most consistent and the faster of all the lanes. But, as we know, it's not about the lanes as much as it is about the speed of the competitors.
Right. And they look like they're raring to go. We've seen a lot of stretching in the back on some of the heats waiting. And this is going to be interesting. I've never gotten the privilege
this is the
of watching
first time we've ever contested this event in the USLA Southeast Regionals. We were supposed to do it last year, and we dropped the ball. But this will be our inaugural attempt at putting this event on. And, Volusia County puts on hundreds of events annually, and they've done regionals at least a couple dozen times that I can remember.
We've done it a lot, but never this event. It's
never this event.
4x100.
But it looks like they're using those same lanes that they use for the 4x100.
Right.
And they look very even, very straight. We've got orange cones at the end of each lane. I don't think anybody could complain about the course today.
Right. Shout out to the crew that set that up. I know they have to deal with a tide. I think it's still an outgoing tide, so we're going to start accruing a little bit extra room. But yeah, they've been running back and forth, making sure these lanes are stretched, they're even, they're the correct length, and they've got plenty of room surrounding them, a little buffer for the spectators.
And as we talked about earlier, on the start of this race, you're going to see your beach flaggers really take off at the start. Maybe get a couple steps on the field. And, some of these runners aren't good at 100 yards. They might be good at 20, 30, 40 yards, but will get past as the race gets longer into the 80, 90-meter zone. Then you'll get your anchor leg runners from your run relay team running right by them. So this is always interesting to watch. You have those runners that are good at their start, and you have other runners that pick up speed as they go.
Yeah, like you said, this isn't beach flags. This is 3 times the length, and it'll be interesting to see who they've got entered in this. As far as, are they looking forward to beach flags later on tonight at 6:30? They don't want to spend too much energy. I mean, if you get into some good races here and you get into the finals, you probably have the probability of getting into 5 or 6 races here.
Absolutely. You can stretch that skill set over different races. And, just like all the other events, the 90-meter beach sprint, there are little tricks of the trade. You can't use racing blocks, but, you'll see how the different runners set up for the start of this race. Some will have their feet sideways, some will be lined up in a straight ahead position. And a lot of this is trial and error. Like I said, we've never done this event before, but a lot of these runners are seasoned veterans when it comes to running on the beach because they're part of run relay teams. It'll be interesting to see how they start out here.
It looks exclusively barefoot. Is that a rule or a choice?
That is a choice. There's no rule here.
Okay.
Other than you can't wear metal spikes for obvious reasons.
Right. Correct. Okay, they've just checked with the finish line to make sure the judges are ready, and they're getting the first heat up into the starting area. So we're going to be off to the races here momentarily. As soon as
we're just waiting for that call. You're in the hands of the starter. Everybody's marshaled to their lane.
Stopwatch is ready. Cameras on. I do not see a drone, so they're going to be relying on cameras, probably cell phone cameras down on the finish line. False starts allowed here? No?
Probably this
not.
Rule has changed over the years. It used to be 1 false start on the field, and then the second false start was a disqualification. I'm not sure if that's still the case or not. I should know this.
I know it's
not. I get old and
not.
I forget stuff. I'll be the first to say that.
I know it's not in beach flags. I heard them this morning. They were giving them the business, and they were going to be eliminated.
So I would assume that's the same thing here then. If you false start for any reason, you're out.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, we're lining them up. Okay, we're getting ready to line up here. First heat, men's open 90-meter sprint. We see our judges. Bob May's out there.
Don
May, sorry.
Let's talk about our judges for a quick second before this race starts. Our head official, Don May, has been the head official at regionals since 1999. This is his 26th year, actually 25th year. He did not officiate last year. He had to take off for some shoulder surgery. But this is his 25th year as head official at regionals. Let's give a shout out to Don May. And of course, we have Joe of all trades.
Mrs. Megaphone.
Miss Joe Wagenhall is here as our basically second in charge with respect to officiating. She's a very commanding presence here. Knows a little bit about every event. She's the one that does the majority of the marshaling. She makes sure that everybody's in the right place at the right time. And we have some other volunteer officials here. We have former Southeast Regional Competition Director Eric Bebchik.
Yes.
Came out of retirement to come down here and help us with this event. He was the competition director back in 2002. He's my predecessor. I took over for him when he left, and I've been the competition director here in the region since 2002. And of course, we have a couple other people helping us out. We have my lovely girlfriend Genevieve Dunlap.
Awesome.
Is helping out. This is her 4th year helping out as an official down there on the front lines, braving the sun and the wind and the salt. And did I forget anybody? Oh yeah, we have. I'm sorry, we have Helena Koshnevis, who is the training officer for the Breakers Resort Hotel in the town of Palm Beach. She's been working at the Breakers now for over 30 years.
Oh wow!
And
impressive.
Yeah, and she is. This might be her 3rd or 4th time helping us officiate here at the J.P. McCarthy Southeast Regional Lifeguard Championship. And these people are not getting paid. This is a long, hot day in the sun, in the elements, with some competitors yelling and screaming at you, thinking that they made the wrong call. But I want everyone to know that these officials are very fair and even-minded, and they only want the best competition for the competitors, just trying to keep it fair for everybody. And we definitely would like to thank them for their hard work and sacrifice out here in the sun.
Day 2, mind you.
Day 2. There was a 10-hour day yesterday. Yeah, actually a 12-hour day yesterday.
Yes, and they were out here at 7 a.m. running beach flags finals, prelims. I'm sorry. So
yesterday started at 8 o'clock, and I think we ended up sometime after 7. So we had a long day yesterday. And they appear to be lined up for our first heat of the 90-meter beach sprint. You can see some of the runners are crouched down lower than the others, and they're off. And like I said, we had a couple people out in front early that are now getting passed as the race gets longer. What a great finish.
Right.
Look at that. That's an excellent footage from the drone.
Look like a couple of them.
We have some stopwatch. Everybody's doing stopwatches. I don't see the popsicle sticks, just the stopwatches. So we'll be writing all those times down, deciding who goes on to the final in this event. If there's any issues with who got what place, we'll go ahead and use that drone footage. Yeah,
we're not sure as far as finishing order goes yet, overall times or what have you, or how many moved from each heat. I'm not really sure, but they've already moved the second heat right in, so they've already been lane assigned, which is good. Hats off to Joe and the crew down there for get them lined. It took a little bit to get things organized just by sheer numbers that were entered in this event, but now it looks like they're going to be moving them through pretty fast.
And if you're watching this event at home on YouTube, on Volusia Beaches, the YouTube link, remember that you can get the real-time results by going to ser.lifeguardregionals.com. Our very dedicated statistician and scorekeeper out in Long Beach, California, Skip Prosser, is doggedly entering all of these times and places into his website. So we not only have real-time scoring, but we have an archive of event finalists, lasting forever. We'll be able to look back through the years, and we can see who contested in what event, who our regional champions were. He also does the scorekeeping at our national events. You can see the national championships champions going back as long as we have records for. And we just want to give a shout out to Skip Prosser for doing this. What an excellent tool his website is, and what a great guy.
So they just flashed some of the team results so far as points accumulated. And Jim, it looks like, well, the home team advantage is panning out here with Volusia Surf Lifesaving Association here in a commanding lead so far. With Emerald Coast, which is a group entry from some of the Panhandle and the Emerald Coast area north of Panama City and west of Panama City, that Destin has their own, right? And the rest have got a community team here.
So the Emerald Coast chapter is made up of all the beach patrols in the Alabama and Florida Panhandle, including Orange Beach, Alabama, Gulf Shores, Alabama, Pensacola Beach, Okaloosa County Beach Patrol, South Walton County, basically all the different beach patrols, Navarre Beach, all the beaches except for Destin. And our Heat 2 is underway. Wow, look at the guy out in front.
That's the favorite.
This is our 90-meter favorite, it looks like. He looks like he won by, wow, I would say 20 yards in a 90-yard race.
Yeah, Heat 2 has had a definitive winner there. He smoked everyone, so he's definitely going to roll into the finals.
And he also had a very quick start, so expect him to do very well in the beach flags. Okay, as Heat 2 is over, we're marshaling for Heat 3.
Heat 3, so this will be, if we're using 10 lanes, this is 30 so far entered. And I know we have at least one more heat, if not two more heats, of the open men's before we move into the women's.
And I do not believe we're going to go with semifinals in this event. I think we're just going to go with stopwatch times to decide who makes it to the finals. So depending on how many heats, depends on how many from each heat makes it to the finals. So if we have 5 heats, we can expect 2 from each heat to make it to finals. And that's a tight margin.
Yeah, that's real tight. That's real tight. And a stopwatch would be a whole nother thing, and that's really complicated. If you have 3 in one particular heat that were heads above, another particular heat that was a slow heat by draw. I don't know if they're going to go that way or not, or just eliminate everybody except 2 in each heat.
And like we saw in that last heat, sometimes if you have such a commanding lead like that individual did, maybe the rest of your heat is just slow. and you just don't have anybody to push you to go any faster. So even though you win that heat by a commanding margin, maybe that time isn't quite as fast as maybe the second or third place runner in the previous heat.
Right, and you see that in the Olympics even, and it goes deep into the level of professionalism. Sometimes it's the luck of the heat, and you just don't know. So you got to give it your all.
It looks like Heat 3 is lined up. They're in the hands of the starter. Everyone lined up, ready to go.
Barefoot, no starting blocks. It doesn't even look like they're letting them arrange sand like they do at the start of beach flags.
I think that's by rule. They're not allowed to dig little
divots,
blocks for themselves, and they're off. Wow, what a great race.
This is going to be a close one.
This is very tight compared to the previous 2 heats, although we do have a clear champion here. I shouldn't say champion, I should say heat winner.
Heat winner.
Because we are not doing the finals. This is only a heat.
Okay, yeah, at least 2 more heats.
So it does look like we're going to be able to advance 2 runners from each heat into finals.
At least 2. I'm trying to count heads back there in the sea of beanies, and I think it's safe to say maybe even 3.
But that brings up an interesting question now. Are they going by times in each heat, or are they going by overall times? So that means that if you're the 3rd or 4th fastest runner in a really fast heat, you might still make finals, or are they only going with 2 in each heat? If somebody knows the answer to that, please shoot me a text and let me know so I can get that out to the fans here and people watching this broadcast.
And by the way, it is broadcast on volusia.org and through the Southeast Region website on YouTube. You can search and watch it.
This is the Volusia Beaches page on YouTube. They have every single event that has been televised, delineated and set aside to watch individually. You can also watch the live feed, as you probably are now listening to me speak. And again, if you want to know what the real-time results are, go to ser.lifeguardregionals.com, ser.lifeguardregionals.com.
They'll give you the names of each individual place, the team, everything. Everything is covered in that.
And they're lined up. This is our 4th heat, or this is our 3rd heat?
This is number 4, I do believe.
This is number 4. That's right. This will be our 4th heat. When we're expecting 5 heats in this event. And if you're wondering what the downtime is between each heat, they have to check the lanes to make sure that each start area is flat and uniform. They have to make sure that the rope lines on the sand that separate the lanes are all straight and even. They have to make sure that all the stopwatches are working. They have to make sure that all the timers are ready and able to time. And you might have 10 lanes with 10 timers. There's also a couple people with backup stopwatches just in case those first 10 timers have some type of malfunction with their stopwatch.
Okay, here we go. Heat 4 is
and
underway.
They're off. Wow, we have a tight pack in the top 3, then we have the field coming in closely behind them. Looks like, wow, we're really close race for 1st and 2nd here.
I'm glad I'm not on the judges' line.
I do have no idea who won that. That could have been, it looks like a tie from our perspective. They're definitely going to go to the stopwatches to find out who won that race.
And we do have drone footage now that's covering the race. As long as that drone can keep up with a fleet-footed runner, they'll be able to give them some valuable information.
Yeah, it looks like some of these guys are so fast they might outrun the drone footage.
We'll see how good the drone operator is.
So it looks like we're marshaling and lining up for our 5th and final. Is there a 6th?
I can't tell because, Jim, I don't know if some of the previous runners have already returned to the starting area.
That's a good point. This might be a support group for this heat, or they may be a 6th heat waiting to run. It's hard to tell from up here.
I think there is. I think there's still some fresh ones back there behind this line that are jumping up and down and stretching like they haven't run yet.
So I think maybe with a group of this size, we might actually have to go with semifinals. It would be hard. Well, I don't want to make any decisions for the officials. I'm sure they've come up with what they believe is the fairest way to do this, and I know that they've run this by the competitors themselves to make sure everybody's in agreement. But short of me knowing exactly what's going on up here, we'll continue to speculate and fill airtime, right?
Yeah, we're not doing the math here. We'll leave that up to the experts down on the beach. As they get the all clear from the finish line.
Heat 5 is lined up here in the hands of the starter. You see a lot of the runners. We have a false start.
False start.
Let's see how they handle this, Jack.
Okay, it looked like down in lane 1, and he is DQ'd.
We have a beanie slammed to the ground in disgust and anger, but he'll be able to shake that off. If you're not disappointed, it means you didn't really want to win in the first place, right, Jack?
Yeah, and he's a little heartbroken. And there was some movement prior to the start, and I guarantee he was just one that got caught up and his momentum just carried him.
And when you have these beach sprinters, we're talking about fast twitch muscle fiber, and sometimes those twitchy muscles can twitch a little too fast, right?
Yeah, sure enough. As he walks through the crowd, he's venting on his own now. And
even that little half a step that you may get with the better start sometimes can be the outcome of who wins these heats. And we're off on Heat 5. Only 9 runners contesting this, as we had 1 disqualification for a false start. And it looks like we have a clear winner in this heat.
And yes, another heat is lining up.
Yes, so we do have a 6th heat. So I would guess, and this is a guess, that there may be a semifinal, unless they decide to go strictly with the stopwatch times. I don't know the discussion that happened down there on the front lines with the officials.
That's a lot of calculations. So we shall see. Boy, this DQ sprinter is still frustrated over here in his team's tent. I'm watching him off camera, and the emotions going through it. You know what? He's going to have an opportunity in beach flags. I'm pretty certain this fella.
And to his credit, he owned it almost immediately.
Yeah, he did.
It wasn't any
There's no
arguing with
argument
the officials. There wasn't any, hawing and complaining and crying. It was basically like, I own this. I made the mistake, and I'm going to suffer the consequences. That's the kind of sportsmanship we look forward to seeing here at Southeast Regionals.
Okay, so looks like I don't even know if there's a looks like 9, maybe 10 in this one, so maybe an even number. Hopefully this, and no offense, hopefully this is the last heat. But there was, like you said, when we looked, there looked like 100 people in that course description group before we got started here, combined men's and women's. There was a good 100 people involved in this particular event. And it's popular. Who's going to get, the dash for the cash? Who's going to be the fastest guy in the sand here in the Southeast region? Okay, the officials are ready on the north end of the course, the finish line. And heat 6 is off, and it looks like Destin in the black and white stripe beanie is going to get first. And looks like a pulled hamstring bringing in the last place, which we fully expected to happen. Somebody was going to have a hamstring issue. Did see one pulled hamstring just now in that heat.
We hate to see that. And that's one of the nastiest injuries you can get.
Long term, yes.
Those hamstring injuries take months to get over fully. Sometimes never. I know people that have torn hamstring muscles in sprint events that never 100% recover.
So yet another heat.
So this looks like it's the 7th
yes.
heat. I did contact one of the officials. He's going to get back to me and let me know if we are going to semifinals or whether we're just going to go with the top 10 fastest times.
Getting a clarification. Oh, and when we do get through this, when we still have all the women to go, and not nearly as the numbers of the ladies that are going to be competing, but we're going to get through those too. We're right on schedule though. Even with the numbers, I'm not sure how we're going to do a rest period for between semis or finals or the prelims and the heats. I'm not really sure. We'll get word from that. Since this is our initial time for foray through
into this event,
for regionals.
If they do semifinals, they'll do all the open men's heats. They'll do all the open female heats. Then they'll do the semis for the men, then they'll do the semis for the women, then they'll go back to our finals. It doesn't look like there's as many women in this event. Maybe 3 heats, something to that effect.
30-ish looks like down there, yeah.
So 7 heats in the men and maybe 3 heats in the women. They may not have semis with the women, depending on how they decide to score it. But it does look like we're going to have some semis with the men.
It's hard to tell. The ladies are where they're waiting patiently for the boys.
And
to get out of
here
the way.
we have lined up and marshaled here for the last the last heat of the men's 90-meter beach sprint.
And Don has sent them on their way. A runner without a beanie, no less, is leaving the field behind.
You know, I hope that doesn't lead to a disqualification. That is one of our rules.
Yeah.
That you have to have a beanie regardless if it's your own team's beanie. So I'm imagining that the officials are going to have a little conversation with that individual.
Maybe he was just some kid from Georgia just walked.
Yeah, maybe it's a guy on vacation.
Jump in. Yeah, just
that
jumped
decided
in.
he was, I'm staying at the Hard Rock.
I can run with these guys.
I've had a couple cocktails. I feel kind of fast. I'm going to jump in that race.
He was on the outside lane or the inside lane for us, and he just took off with these brightly colored jammer shorts on and no beanie. I have no idea who he is. I totally expect that he is a competitor, but no beanie to identify. So, judges. There's another job for you. Okay, first heat for the ladies.
So the first 7 heats for the men are in the books. The officials are trying to decide who's going to make it into the semifinals. And now we have the ladies lining up for the first heat of the Open Women's 90-meter beach sprint here at the 2025 James P. Mac McCarthy Southeast Regional Lifeguard Championships. Jim McCready here, the Southeast Regional Competition Director, with retired beach captain Jack Driscoll from Volusia County.
Yeah, place is dear to my heart. I always love seeing the regionals come here, and they like putting on a big show. They like up in the ante, if you will. And we've got so much cooperation throughout the community with our support, and as well with our county seat. Everybody, our county councilmen and all the staff over at our county seat including community information. This staff back here that has put together this production is just unbelievable what they've done. It looks like a professional television studio from New York City or LA, to tell you the truth, but hats off to them all.
So our women are lined up for Heat 1. It looks like they're marshaled. They're in their proper lanes. They're in the hands of the starter. We're now just waiting on the timers to make sure all the watches are operational. Every lane has a timer. We're just waiting for that. There's a lot of nervous, anticipatory energy here at the start line. Like I said, we've never contested this event before at regionals, so there's a lot of question marks in the air here.
And the women have
lined
had
up and ready to go.
A lot of wait time for these women. They've been standing there patiently, waiting their turn.
It looks like we have one of the runners down in the sprint position. Must be a track athlete here. And they're off. Wow, look at those women go. That's some foot speed.
They are serious. And again, depending on the number of entries in this, we don't know yet if they're going on your finish order or your timed order. So we're just going to go with the flow now and call the races as we see them, and we'll hear from the officials once they get through all these heats.
Heat 1 in the books. Looks like we had a clear first and second. Shouldn't be a whole lot of decision making going on here. It looks like it was pretty easy to determine who was in first and second. We do have Heat 2 starting to line up.
Getting a clarification for the finish line to make sure the lanes are clear, watches are clear, lane judges are in place.
So what we will see in this event, we'll see some of the runners that ran the prelims who may have not necessarily pulled a hamstring or a groin, but they may feel a little bit of tenderness down there.
Yeah.
And we may not see them in the semifinals. We may not see them in the finals. They may be pulling out of. We see this every time any type of sprint race is contested, and those racers will be saving themselves for the other events happening this afternoon and later this evening. Maybe they're saving themselves for beach flags. which is more of like a high-profile rock star type of event.
Yes.
Especially when we do it tonight under the lights.
That'll be a culmination of our 2 days of events.
We're doing it at the beach deck, I believe.
We're doing it at the Ocean
Lifeguard
Deck.
Party.
Ocean Deck.
Ocean Deck.
And then,
sorry.
of course, we'll have the traditional slap on the back congratulatory party.
And
afterwards.
Heat 2 is underway. The women are off. What a range of runners. A couple speedsters out in front. A couple women in the back that look like they may be doing this distance for the first time. But you don't know if you're good at it unless you try it, right, Jack?
Right, by numbers. And then, like you said, there may be a scratch in between here and finals, either in the men's or the women's, by virtue of them wanting to get into beach flags. And also, they may consider the numbers of entries they already have in this event. If they feel solid, like they're going to get some points with several entries, depending on how deep their team is, a couple of them may pass and spread the wealth out a little bit and scratch this event and rest up and recover for beach flags tonight.
So I'm going to get into my prognosticating again.
Okay.
We're going to guess because I'm not exactly sure how they're doing this, but I'm going to guess that we're going to have 2 semifinals with 10 people in each of those 2 semifinal heats for the men. So we're basically 7 heats of 10 people. We have 70 runners, and they're going to try to whittle that down to 20 for the semifinal. I'm not even going to try to figure out the math. How many is that per heat? Maybe one a heat, and then
I don't know. And then are we going to go with times? Are we going to go with 5 and 5 for the next one?
I think what they'll do is they'll do the top 2 places in each heat, and then they'll go to the stopwatches for the 6 fastest third place times.
For the consolation times?
I was going to guess.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, no consolation final. I think these are just the semifinals that we're talking about. And then they're going to, I think they place this to 16 for points. So even though you don't make it into the 10-person final, 11 through 16, 16th place will also get points. So
yes,
there will be people in the semifinals receiving points for their respective lifeguard competition teams.
Yeah, this event, nevertheless, is going to be a workload for our officials.
This is our 3rd heat lining up for the women. It looks like there might be 4 heats, huh?
Yeah, there's another group lined up stretching behind them. So, yes.
Very popular event here, it seems, in its inaugural, what's the word I'm looking for? Inaugural.
Your inaugural introduction.
I've been in the sun too long this morning. I'm losing my
our vocabulary
prowess here.
Our vernacular, is limited at this point. We are going to take a little break after we do our recap show and get some calories back in us. But we're in the hands of the starter now for our 4th heat. Yes.
4th heat lined up, ready to go in the hands of the starters. Everybody's in the upright position. I don't see anybody down in the track start position. And they're off. Wow, this is the closest heat we've seen.
Yeah.
Although we do have a clear leader here.
Closing the gap.
But second, 3rd, and 4th place is going to be tough on the officials.
Stay in your lanes, ladies. Okay, this is the final heat. I don't see anybody else waiting.
This is our 4th heat or 5th heat?
This is number 5.
Okay, 5 heats for the women. Which again, I'm guessing 5 heats will be whittled down into 20 people. Let me do some quick math. I believe that's 4 per heat.
There you go. That's
so they'll probably take the top 4 from each heat for a semi. 2 semis of 10 each, and then those top 10 will go to a final. But like we said before,
I'm not speculating in the method to their madness. I'm not going to speculate. It could be 2 from each heat. Okay, Jim, what's the word
All right, I just got word from official Eric Bebchek just gave me a call here on the cell phone. He let me know that there will not be a semifinal for the women. The women are going straight to final, so they're going to take
2 from each heat, or
2 from each heat, which would be, what is that? That would be 10 people, and then they'll probably take the 6th. No, there's not even. How are they going to do that? That's
5 heats.
This is that new math.
2 times 5 is 10. We have 10 lanes.
Solve for X. I'm having trouble with this. But I do know there will be a semifinal, a couple of semifinal heats for the men, but I did get word that they're going straight to finals with the women, which may mean stopwatch times.
Yes.
You know, so maybe we're going to go with the 10 fastest stopwatch times. I don't exactly know how they're going to do this. I know they're supposed to score this at 16, which means they may use those same stopwatch times to place the female
6
runners from 11th to 16th place based on their prelim runs, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that would probably be the only fair way to do it.
But for any questions, go to ser.lifeguardregionals.com for your real-time scoring. And knowing Skip, he probably has the heat placements down as well as far as how the runners did in each heat. But he is only one person, so he's got a lot of work that he's doing. So if they're not up immediately, you know, who can blame him? You know, he's a volunteer out there in California, crunching numbers, receiving computer input, and trying to fire this out as fast as he can.
And again, this is the inaugural event for this in our region, so.
And they're off. Our final leg of the ladies' 90-meter beach sprint. And it doesn't even look like we have 10 in this heat.
Looks
like we have 8 or 9.
8 or 9. 8.
8 runners in this heat.
And a clear
just
first
because
and
it's the last heat doesn't mean they're the slowest runners.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. That first place runner looked like she had plenty left in the tank, too. Okay, they're going to marshal all of that out, the finishes. Now there's probably going to be a little bit of calculating down there, even with the top 10 is probably going to be easily decided, and then they got to go ahead and go through their stopwatches and see which
this is where
which
we
people
crunch the numbers.
Yeah,
we line up the fastest times, and we decide who's going to make it into the semis for the men. And I did hear from race official Eric Bebchek that for the women, we're going to go straight to a final. And again, I'm assuming this, I haven't been told this, but the top 10 stopwatch times going to finals for the women, and then 11 through 16 will be awarded points based on their times in the prelims.
So they'll be done until beach flags, assuming a lot of these same entries, those 30 women are going to be entered in beach flags. Well, some of them will, and some of them won't make the finals that had been decided earlier. But I know how many men's are moving to beach flags finals? 20? Was it 20? I wasn't even sure this morning.
I believe that.
Or is it 16?
It's 16.
Okay, there we go.
The prelims this morning, we got down to the 16 fastest beach flaggers that will be contested under the bright lights.
Okay, 4 men
in front of the ocean deck this evening.
Okay.
And that's very exciting. We got the rock music going on.
I think there's going to have some
music. Have the libations flowing.
Yes.
We have people all charged up because the event's over, yelling and screaming for their respective favored flagger. And it's always a good time to see the beach flags under the lights, both the men's and women's finals. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, they'll have an area cordoned off on the sand out in front of the open air Ocean Deck Beach Club. You can watch it from actually indoors. I don't know if they'll have the second floor open, but there is an elevated space right next door at the Comfort Inn that a lot of the people will watch from as well. But for sure, you'll be right there at the ocean deck within arm's length of one of Ken Box's many employees to help you out with some both meals and libations. So let's stay a while once we get finished and celebrate the community of Lifesaving here from the Southeast region. Okay, they're doing some calculating, Jim.
It looks like we have our semifinalists in the background there behind the start line, trying to stay limber, jogging in place, stretching, trying to keep those muscles from cramping up, trying to avoid injury. And like I said, a lot of these competitors have track running backgrounds, so they know exactly what they're doing here. It's funny with these events, a lot of times if you didn't grow up running track, or maybe you weren't on a swim team, or you don't have any competitive background in sports, but you try out for these lifeguard tournaments, you might find that you have some hidden athleticism that you didn't know. I could tell you a lot of stories about some very good athletes that didn't know they were athletic or didn't know they would be good at some of these events until they showed up at a lifeguard tournament and tried to compete against these other people and found out that they had some natural ability, some natural affinity at these individual disciplines that we can test here out at the USLA Southeast Regionals.
And practice makes perfect. I don't know about your beach patrol, but pretty much every beach patrol have daily drills or workout periods where they partner up and they get an opportunity to learn or hone a particular talent. And some of them are just doing it, like you said, returning to the beach as a second job, second career, or it was a job at one time, and now they're taking the opportunity to come back, like the two Coast Guard guys you mentioned.
Right, and because regionals, we have age groups, just because you're not the fastest guy on your beach, you might definitely be the fastest man or woman in the 30 to 34 age group, or the 40 to 44, or the 55 to 59 age group. So whatever age group you're in, you can come to these regional competitions, come to these national competitions, and compete against people that are in your same age group, which is always fun. And lifelong friendships are made in these age group events. I've known people here that I've been competing against for 35 years that are in my age group, some of which are out here on the course today. And I'm kind of glad I'm not competing against these guys. They're in much better shape than I am right now. Bruce Wilkie being one of them. Back in the old days, myself, Eric Bebchik, and Bruce Wilkie had some great little races against each other. Eric is now retired from competition. I'm taking a couple years off. I plan on staging my big comeback for next year.
Okay.
But Bruce Wilkie never let his athleticism drop even for a second.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's lost
He's
much.
an absolute stud in swimming, paddling, surf skiing. We'll also probably see him later this afternoon in the International Ironman, showcasing all three of those skills. And I've heard that he's picked up rowing as well. He rowed yesterday in the Open with my nephew, Philip McCready. I believe they got a 5th place, which isn't too bad for a 59-year-old rowing competitor that recently just picked up rowing.
Now, where's your nephew affiliated with? Which beach patrol? Fort Lauderdale?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Philip McCready is one of 7 McCreadys that either currently work in Fort Lauderdale or have worked for Fort Lauderdale Ocean Rescue. I believe at this point there's only 3 left, with myself retiring, my ex-wife Christine continuing her career in fire rescue for Delray Beach, my brother Chris retiring after 34 years. We now only have Crystal Hare McCready, my sister-in-law, and Mitchell McCready, my youngest brother, still working there, and of course my nephew Philip McCready, recent graduate of the University of Florida.
Wow.
In a public relations capacity as his major, as his undergraduate.
Great.
And my son, of course, James Hamilton McCready the 6th, did take the Lifeguard Academy to become an ocean lifeguard in Fort Lauderdale. But unfortunately, COVID reared its ugly head, and Fort Lauderdale wasn't hiring at that time. But he is still a lifeguard. He lifeguards at the International Swimming Hall of Fame at the Fort Lauderdale Aquatics Complex as one of their best pool lifeguards. And he actually saved a life a couple years back, 3 years ago. A member of his swim team was trying to do an underwater breath-holding
25-meter
underwater
yard
swim and passed out underwater. My son Jimmy was able to perform CPR and save his teammate's life, received a meritorious award act through the National USLA. Very proud of him. So Lifesaving runs all through my family. I'm very proud of that.
Wow, outstanding. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a story to tell. Okay, looks like we're lining up or doing lane picks now. And Joe's got them all in a circle here, giving them the what for. So we should be not far from our semifinal men's in the 90-meter sprint. Well, folks, we do want you to stick around after this event's over. We're going to go live with our recap of this morning's events. We'll have some video and some commentary and hopefully a couple of special guests that we can talk through and talk about the events and what's coming up and what to expect this afternoon.
That live recap show, I believe, will be happening right after we figure out what's going on with this 90-meter beach sprint, probably after we have some champions, I would imagine.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe we can get a couple of those champions up here to interview.
I hope so. Some aren't too camera shy, but you don't want them up here because they may get off topic, and then some of them are just camera shy and they avoid us at all costs. So come on, we need a couple of good ones, both today and noon and 4:30.
So it looks like we have some runners lining up in their lanes. We have some officials headed down to the end of the course.
Yeah, lane officials at the finish line seem to be ready.
So let's talk about how and who gets to host the Regional Lifeguard Championships. Every year we have many different beach patrols, many different life-saving agencies elect to try to host this event in their hometown at their beach. We have all of these individual agencies submit requests to host this event. That those requests have to be in by January 1st of each year. And then we have the USLA Southeast Regional Board of Directors. We sit down and we look at all the proposals and we decide which agency was going to put on the best event for the competitors and the fans that travel to watch this event. And we also try to move it around a little bit around the region. We don't want to have the event 2 years in a row in the same area, so that also enters in with respect to our decision-making process. For instance, next year we're going to have nationals in Fort Lauderdale, so there's been some discussion to have the regionals next year somewhere in a different part of the state other than in South Florida, just so we don't have those two giant events in the same area. We are underway of our first semifinal heat for the men's 90-meter beach sprint. We have a clear leader, clear number one runner in this event. I think that's the guy from the second preliminary.
Yeah.
Judging from that beanie cap and that running style.
Yeah, the light blue and white striped cap. Yeah, he smoked him in the first heat, and it looks like he's going to be the proverbial favorite. And yeah, getting back to next year's regionals, these guys like to travel, not too much, but they do like to see other beaches.
Right, and as the region branches out with more and more lifeguard agencies at its fringes, at its edges, we try to move this event out to all the different corners of the region so that people that have never been to regionals before, or maybe competitors that have never had a chance to compete, will get a chance to compete on their hometown beaches. So I know that Gulf Shores, Alabama is very much interested in hosting nationals next year. I'm sorry, regionals next year. They're also interested in hosting nationals. I think they put a bid in for 2027 or 2028 to host nationals, but we would like to see them put on the regional event before we lend our support behind them. And they told us that they very much like to host the regionals next year. But it's not a done deal. Like I said, all the different agencies that want to host the regionals will get their applications in before January 1st. The Southeast Regional Board of Directors will sit down and decide who's going to put on the best show and what's going to be in the best interest of the competitors.
Right. Exactly. Gulf Shores, Alabama is kind of a neat place. Navarra put them on the map, and it puts life-saving awareness on the map in their community and for recruiting tools.
Yeah, we had regionals last year at Navarre Beach, which is about a 45-minute to an hour drive from Gulf Shores, Alabama, depending how fast you can drive down that road without getting pulled over.
Yeah,
a lot of police on that road, but they put on an outstanding event last year, and a lot of people got to see that part of the state of Florida for the first time. Had no idea how beautiful those beaches were with their white sugar sand beaches with their giant sand dunes. It's just an amazing, picturesque postcard type of beach setting. And if you've never been to that part of the country, I highly recommend headed up to the Florida Panhandle or the coastal area of Alabama, Orange Beach and Gulf Shores, Alabama. We have our Heat 2 of our semifinal lining up. And I'm assuming we're going to go to a final.
I would assume so. Before lunch. Looks like a couple of Volusia competitors in this one that are also in beach flags. I see Gavin Ziegler and Hunter Pinciero out here in the starting line for Heat 2 with their red beanies on. Never heard back from the beanie-less competitor that was in that last heat. Don't know if he just kept running down the beach or what.
Yeah, maybe he just kept running with the officials in tow. And now we have our second semifinal underway. It looks like the guy winning this heat has the same color beanie as the guy that won the last heat. Do we know what beanie color that is?
I don't know if that's Emerald Coast, the light blue and white.
Yeah, I believe it is. If it's not, please somebody give me a text and let me know. I want to try to speak intelligently to this, but we're not down on the front lines. We're up here in the broadcast booth. We don't necessarily have the best vantage to pick out the colors of these beanies. We're watching a lot of this right through the monitor.
Okay, so that was Heat 2 of the semifinals, and I'm seeing...
Do we see anyone marshaling at this point? Does it look like we're going to go
I do.
with the women's finals maybe?
And I see more men getting lined up.
Okay.
So 3 semifinals.
3 semifinals, okay. Maybe they're going to go with the top 3 in each semifinal, and then the... Yeah, I'm not even going to speculate anymore. I have no idea how they're doing this. This just in, that light blue, white, and yellow beanie is the beanie for the Emerald Coast chapter in the Florida Panhandle. And again, this is a multi-agenal chapter comprising every beach patrol in the Florida Panhandle, including Alabama beaches, except for the city of Destin, who has their own USLA chapter. And, Destin has been super competitive. They've won regionals before. Last year, it came down between the Emerald Coast and Destin. I think it came down to a couple points, and Destin pulled it out at the end.
They have a sizable staff. They've grown. The whole area has grown.
Well, obviously because of the number of agencies involved in the Emerald Coast chapter, they have a much larger pool to draw from. But at the same time, Destin has the ability to get those Australian lifeguards, and they can handpick some of the best athletes coming over from Australia. And like I said, it's not just about their athleticism. These Aussies are very good lifeguards as well, so you get kind of a little bit of bang for your buck.
Experience as well.
To kill the proverbial two birds with one stone, hiring these Australian lifesavers. So we're lined up here for the third semifinal heat. We have two people down in that track start, as if they had the blocks behind them. Everybody else is kind of in a crouched over, weight on their front leg, starting position.
Track and field experience too. They're showing that they.
I don't know that that's an advantage getting down that low if you don't have the blocks.
Yeah.
To sprint off of, but it's up to the individual runner. They know what works best for them.
Okay, they're all crouched now, ready to go.
And they're off. Heat number 3 here at Southeast Regional Lifeguard Championships, 90-meter beach sprint. Wow, this is the tightest heat we've seen so far. But again, we have one of those light blue, white, and yellow beanies winning this heat for the Emerald Coast chapter. Since they've won the top 3, or they've had the top runner in each of the 3 semifinal heats, I would expect they're going to have a very fast run relay team later.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. If not 2.
Right, exactly.
Okay, the judges are calling out. Oh goodness, more men?
Wow, we have a 4th semifinal heat? Huh.
Yeah, I don't know how they pared that down, but hey, we're not doing the math, they are.
And I'm sure they picked the fairest way they thought would be able to whittle this down to our fastest runners. And it looks like Heat 4 of our semifinal is lining up. And I do believe this is the last semifinal heat, as we have nothing but female competitors behind them there. We will break for lunch right after the conclusion of the 90-meter beach sprint. And that means we will launch into our live recap show.
Shortly following that.
Shortly following that. We'll kind of break down how the events went this morning. We'll maybe look over some of the event results. And if we're lucky, we'll get to interview a couple of these regional champions that were decided this morning in this morning's competition.
And giving everybody an opportunity to participate in an event or two, I can appreciate the numbers that are involved in this event. It is time consuming, and it can be a little cumbersome for the judges and the officials out on the course, but we want as much participation as we can.
Real quick, we just got word on our team championship rankings. We're going to go down through that real quick. In first place was 744 points and the home field advantage, Volusia County. Second place, Emerald Coast with 528 points. Third place, Fort Lauderdale Ocean Rescue with 478 points. Deerfield Beach in 4th, St. John's in 5th, Clearwater in 6th, Destin in 7th, Palm Beach County in 8th, Delray Beach in 9th, Martin County in 10th, Boca Raton 11th, Miami Beach 12th, Sarasota County 13th, and in their first time at regionals, Manatee County holding tough at 14th place, Flagler Beach in 15th place, Lantana Beach in 16th place, and Atlantic Beach, I believe, is an exhibition team from the South Atlantic, is in 17th place, and then our final team in 18th place is Pompano Beach.
Now, I'm looking at these registrations as opposed to the accumulation of points. Fort Lauderdale's got 3rd place with a huge amount of points with 13 team members.
Right. How many people do we have for Volusia County?
57.
57.
Registered.
So that means that, Volusia County has more specialists.
And
they have people that are good at individual events, whereas Fort Lauderdale has some Ironmen and some Ironwomen that can do multiple events.
Yeah, that are dominating. And then Deerfield has 10 members, and they're in 4th place.
Right. And there's some incredible athletes in Deerfield Beach. They've won nationals in their respective division. I believe the last 3 years in a row they've won the Division C National Lifeguard Championships, and that is the division for agencies with 50 employees or less.
Wow. So that semifinal just went off without a hitch, and I saw Emerald Coast beanies cross. It looked like both first and second place.
It sounds like somebody rated a track team up there.
Yeah, sounds that way.
There might be a college or high school in the area that has some fast sprinters. And, they're not the only team that does that. A lot of teams around the country will go to their local high schools, their local colleges, and they'll try to get, some competitive track athletes, some competitive swim team members to go ahead and join their life-saving crew and their lifeguard competition team.
Yeah, I've noticed that from year to year. I noticed the Mid-Atlantic region recruited heavily and got great results out of a couple of area colleges for cross-country runners. So they were dominating at the national level with the 2K run.
Right, and at the national level, you'll see Sussex County.
Yes.
Very dominant in the run relay, 90-meter beach sprint, and beach flags. Also, you see, what's the other one? I'm drawing.
Ocean City, Maryland has notoriously had a beach flag specialist or two.
But there are different areas of the country that are known for their respective prowess in different disciplines. Obviously, New Jersey's known for its surfboat rowing. A lot of those New Jersey surfboat rowers end up in South Florida to continue that tradition. Like I said, we have runners that a lot of them will come from the Mid-Atlantic region, mostly Sussex County, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware Beach Patrol agencies. And we also have a lot of good rowers out on the California coast. They have that National Doryman's Association where they row the bank dories out there in the big surf. We get a lot of national champion rowers from California due to their involvement. But like I said, depending on what part of the country you work at, a lot of times there's a tradition and a specific craft or a specific event that region or that patrol excels in.
And equipment available. For somebody that's just starting out, if you're up in the Mid-Atlantic region, you want to start out as a doryman, you may have a mentor or two that can get you right into it.
Yeah, that's a good point. In fact, if you look at the patrols in the South Atlantic region, not a lot of skiffs or dories. A lot of their patrols rely heavily on paddleboards, and their competition teams don't have a lot of rowboats. So you're not going to see a lot of rowing in that South Atlantic region. With the exception of Volusia County when they used to be part of the South Atlantic. I know that Jacksonville has had a couple rowers over the years, but not a lot of rowing going on in the South Atlantic.
Right.
But that doesn't mean they're not excellent lifesavers. It doesn't mean that they don't do an excellent job. It just means that discipline isn't very popular in that region.
Okay, let's see what the scores and the judges are doing down here.
Okay, it looks like they're still marshalling here. This is the women's. I heard that there wasn't going to be a semifinal, so I'm guessing this is going to be the top 10 women by virtue of their stopwatch times. And if that's wrong, please somebody reach out to me and let me know.
Because I've seen the men disperse. Like they've been issued final finishing orders. Don't quote me on that. But the men have dispersed from the marshalling area.
And that other patrol that always does well in the run relay, 90-meter beach sprint, and beach flags is Smith Point up in Suffolk County, New York. They have a long tradition of having some fast runners. I think there's a community college very close to Smith Point, and they recruit a lot of their runners from those track teams in the area. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you can get some good athletes, no matter how you get them, out to your beach to work as lifeguards, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, breaking them from their training, their coaches agreeing. on their absence or actually working in the heat is always some consideration too.
I have to say I'm very impressed with the Emerald Coast team. They've always had good athletes up there at the individual beach patrols that make up that chapter, but just the recent effort to coordinate them all together into one giant powerhouse team is very impressive. You're talking about 150 miles of beach with 6 different patrols, 7 different patrols, and to get them all together at this venue in a very coordinated way must have taken a lot. I'm assuming that Austin Turnbull had something to do with that.
Yes.
But,
and they're excelling. They're excelling.
Yeah, they're kicking some butt here. I mean, they're in second place right now by a wide margin. I'm not sure they're going to be able to catch Volusia County with the home field advantage here, but clearly in second place by, I guess, close to 100 points.
Yeah.
So I hate to say this is over because it's never over. We're getting to events later in the day that have to do with the surf ski again. Some of the younger lifeguards that compete for Emerald Coast may not be as proficient on the surf ski, may not do as well in the International Ironman, but I'm assuming that. I don't know that for sure.
And they brought 33 competitors.
33 competitors. That's a giant team.
And like I said, from that far away,
let's give them a hand for the coordination that it took to get that whole team out here.
Okay, we're waiting for word from the judges to see where we're at with the women's finals in the 90-meter sprint.
Jack, do we have a minute to talk about this Hard Rock Hotel?
I think we do, sure.
I'll tell you, I've never stayed at a Hard Rock Resort Hotel, and I've always heard good things. I'm very impressed with this venue.
This place has really taken off. You know, it was originally an older motel from the 70s, the Desert Inn. It was originally, and now it's like a 4-star hotel. It's just, they've been awesome.
If you're not relaxing with your toes in the sand and a drink in your hand, then all we can say is we wish you were here at the Ocean Deck. Whether you're dining with the family upstairs or partying in the sand downstairs, at Ocean Deck we serve up a delicious menu, unbeatable drink specials, and the best live entertainment on the beach. Visit oceandeck.com to see the menu and events. So come on, let's get happy at the Ocean Deck.
Ocean Deck, voted the #1 beach bar in USA Today's 2025 Reader's Choice Awards.
My name is Tony Beasley. I became a full-time lifeguard because I enjoy helping people and I love working outdoors.
My name's Marin and I want to be a lifeguard because my dad used to be one and I like being on the beach.
My name is Ricky, and the reason I chose to be a Volusia County lifeguard is because I like the lifestyle, working out, staying in shape, helping people out. It's a labor of love for me, and that's why I chose to be a lifeguard.
Whatever you're into, Central Florida's only national leader in orthopedics is here to help you get back to it. Advent Health. Feel whole.
My name is Zoe Fulton, and I chose to become a lifeguard because I love the ocean and the beach.
My name is Chandler, and I chose to become a lifeguard because I wanted to make a difference, and there's no better place to do it than the beach.
My name's Aurora, and I became a lifeguard because my mom used to work here, and I have great family ties throughout this.
Wagner the Lawyer Dude here, serving Daytona Beach for about 20 years. When you or someone you care about gets into a car accident or a slip and fall, and it turns out to be a real beach, hit up the Lawyer Dude. Why use Wagner the Lawyer Dude? It's simple. I use my surfer-style attitude to get you the most money in your pocket, not the lawyer's pockets. Let's get you lawyered up by surfing over to lawyerdude.com or call me at 833-333-3333 because Wagner the Lawyer Dude makes it easy. Vasileiros Wagner, offices Felicia, Flagler.